Green Lantern New Guardians number 19, written by Tony Bedard, art by Andre Guinaldo. This is the next part. I don't think we're quite at the penultimate issue of Wrath of the First Lantern. And last time in Green Lantern 19, we had the First Lantern destroy Sinestro's planet of Korrigar. So this issue is picking up in essentially the rubble of the planet, and Kyle is narrating saying, like, we had a thing on Earth called, like, the bombing of Hiroshima and whatnot, and I learned about it when I was growing up, and this is kind of bringing back a lot of memories of that, as we see him and Carol in the rubble, just basically like, yeah, no, this is messed up. So let me go back 3 hours earlier, where Carol is just flying top speed to Kyle, who is catatonic, I guess is the best way to say it, on his floor. And Carol's like, oh, geez, all right, well, looks like you were already hit by the First Lantern, and he came after me. What happens if he went after all of our teammates? So Kyle's like, oh, geez, you're right. So he tries calling them up, and we see that all of them have already been hit, and so they're not answering Kyle's call. And he's like, oh, geez, I am so useless. I have all of this, like, white lantern power, and I don't know what to do with it. And his ring says, hey, by the way, we found Sinestro. And he's like, oh, sweet, cool, let's go see what he's doing. Cut to, his whole planet's gone. And Kyle's like, I have this white lantern power, and I can still see them. I can still imagine what it was like. Like, everyone on the planet wasn't like Sinestro. They were just normal people. It wasn't like cartoonishly evil land. They were just people. And now they're all corpses floating around us. And he gets super frustrated. And they think, okay, well, did Sinestro do this? Or was this the First Lantern? And Kyle categorically shuts it down. He's like, this was First Lantern. There's no way Sinestro blew up his whole planet. And then Sinestro comes out of nowhere, just like, we're going to have a talk, buddy. And so big fight scene breaks out. Carol tries to defend Kyle while asking where Hal is. And Sinestro's like, nah, screw that. I'm talking to him. So he just bats Carol away and says, here's what's going to happen. You're going to use you're going to give me that ring. And I'm going to use it to save this. I'm going to fix all this. And Carol keeps on trying to get into it and like, no, you're going to tell me where Hal is. I'm super desperate to find out. And Sinestro just keeps on making constructs to like send her away until finally during the fight with Kyle, Sinestro is restrained by Green Lantern. I learned how to pronounce this before. Beej, the chipmunk one. And he's with Simon Baz and they're like, oh, hey, who's this guy? Hi, new Green Lantern. And Beej is like, okay, for those who don't know, this is Simon Baz. He's Hal Jordan's replacement. And Carol's like, Hal? You know where Hal is? Where's Hal? What's going on? And Simon's like, yeah, I kind of lost him in the dead zone, so he's not coming back. And Carol's very upset by this, but not as upset as Sinestro, who then freaks out and says, you guys need to stop wasting my time. And Kyle, he keeps on calling him like alley rat or something like that. You need to use your ring. Bring back my people. And he's like, no, I'm pretty sure bringing back the dead is the Black Lantern's realm, and I don't want to dive into that. But then Simon Baz pipes up, and he's like, actually, my brother-in-law was kind of in a weird dead-ish state, and I brought him back to life with just Green Lantern power, so maybe you can do it, Kyle. And Kyle's like, fine, I'll give it a shot. Why not? So he uses it, and we see all of Korrigar start like rebuilding around him. And he speaks out to all the spirits of the people. And he's like, hey, everybody, I can open the door, but I need you guys to step through it. Okay, can you do that for me? And then all of it just crumbles. And he says, I can't. I'm unable to do it. So Sinestro just charges at him, steals the ring off his finger. Mind you, they're in space, so he starts suffocating without a ring. Carol puts up a protective force field around him. And as Sinestro puts on the ring, it says, no, I don't want you. You're unsuitable. So the ring flies off his finger and goes onto the finger of Simon Baz, who then becomes the White Lantern. And everyone's like, oh, well, hey, maybe, yeah, I mean, he did it before. Let's see if the new guy can do it. So he focuses hard and he focuses on Korgar. He starts bringing everybody back. And then the ring pops off his finger again and says, nah, sorry, I got confused. You're not Kyle. Kyle, I'm coming back onto your finger. So he pops back on. Simon feels bad that he couldn't do it. But then Sinestra's like, you know what? Screw it. I don't even want to fight you guys anymore. You all are just a waste of my time. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this my way. And he grabs his yellow lantern, which we saw at the end of that issue, and he flies off for revenge. And Simon, Kyle, and Carol are like, who's he getting revenge? Is it Guardians or is it the First Lantern? And Kyle says, well, whoever it is, it won't fix that massive hole in his heart. And Carol, crying, says, that makes two of us. Because, yeah, Hal's dead. So, I don't know. This is the first one of the Wrath of the First Lantern tie-ins that absolutely had no First Lantern in it. There was the Green Lantern core issue last time, number 19, that kind of had that same thing, but even then, it was still a little bit of him at the first point. This is the first one where there's absolutely none. And yeah, it just feels like he didn't do anything. Because Carol just shows up at his house. He's, I guess, imagining that he's living in this world where his ex, or not his ex, his dead girlfriend's still alive. And then he wakes up and it's just not the real place. So he's not warping reality at all. He's just putting them in a mental state of, oh, here's what it would have been like. In which case, I don't feel like he's powerful at all. This issue didn't feature him at all, and yet it managed to depower him down to the point of he's just the Black Mercy. He's just the flower that shows you the things that you want. That's all he is. So maybe we'll eventually get to the reality warping stuff, but we've got a Red Lanterns issue and then the Green Lantern finale. And that's it. That's all that's left in this event. So I don't get it. I don't see why he's such a threat. He seems really weird. I'm sure, yeah, he destroyed a whole planet. Okay, we've met like 17 people in this series who have destroyed planets on their own. I'm not that worried about destroying planets. So yeah, I don't know. I'm disappointed with how this event has been playing its villain, in that it just feels like more of a let's look back at all the things we did rather than a here's the big climax. So overall, art's fine. Actual writing itself is fine, but the overarching plot is just draining away from me with every single issue of it. So I got to give this one a, I don't even know. It's going to be close to like a 6. It's an okay issue on its own. I'm trying not to be harsh on it for that, but it is part of a larger event that's just failing with every next issue that comes out. So yeah, I'll give this one a 6.